Nkechi stared at the positive pregnancy test, her hands shaking, tears streaming down her face as she recalled Obinna's cold words. "Get rid of it. I won't let a housemaid ruin my reputation or my upcoming marriage." In that moment, she realized the man she loved had never seen her as anything more than a convenient plaything. In the bustling city of Owerri, nestled in the heart of Imo State, Nigeria, lived Obinna Nwosu, a wealthy businessman known for his charm and good looks. His sprawling mansion on the outskirts of town was the envy of many, a testament to his success and influence. At 35, Obinna had everything a man could want, except a wife. His mother, Adaku, constantly pressured him to settle down and start a family, but Obinna enjoyed his bachelor lifestyle too much to be tied down. Enter Nkechi Okafor, a 22-year-old village girl who came to work as a maid in Obinna's household. Fresh-faced and naive, Nkechi had left her poor family in the rural areas of Anambra State, hoping to earn enough money to support them and perhaps save for her education. From the moment she arrived at Nwosu Mansion, Nkechi was in awe. She had never seen such luxury. The marble floors, the crystal chandeliers. Obinna barely noticed Nkechi at first. She was just another face in the army of staff that kept his household running smoothly. But as the weeks passed, he found his eyes drawn to her more and more. There was something different about Nkechi, unlike the other maids, who seemed proud and flattered, hoping to catch his eye. She went about her work with quiet efficiency. One evening, as Nkechi was cleaning Obinna's study, she accidentally knocked over a stack of papers. Flustered, she hurried to pick them up, only to find Obinna standing in the doorway, watching her with an amused expression. "I am sorry, sir," Nkechi stammered, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. Instead of anger, Obinna surprised her with a warm chuckle. "No harm done," he said, kneeling to help her gather the papers. Their hands touched briefly, and Nkechi felt a jolt of electricity run through her. From that moment, something changed between them. Obinna found excuses to be around when Nkechi was working. Weeks turned into months, and their relationship deepened. Late at night, when the rest of the household was asleep, Obinna would invite Nkechi to his study. Nkechi shared stories of her village, of the struggles her family faced. Obinna listened with genuine interest, touched by her determination to make a better life for herself and her loved ones. She had fallen deeply in love with Obinna, but had never dared to hope he might feel the same way. Their first kiss was passionate and tender, filled with the promise of a future together. Nkechi gave herself to Obinna completely, believing in the love he professed. Obinna showered her with affection and small gifts. He talked about taking her to meet his business associates, hinting at a life where she would be more than just a maid. But reality had a harsh way of intruding on their secret romance. One afternoon, as Nkechi was dusting the living room, she overheard a conversation between Obinna and his mother, Adaku. "I have arranged for you to meet Olana Eze next week," Adaku was saying. "She comes from an excellent family, and her father's connections could be very useful for your business." She's heart dropped as she heard Obinna's reply. "That sounds perfect, Mama. It's time I settled down and find a suitable wife." Tears stung Nkechi's eyes as she fled the room. How could Obinna agree to meet another woman when he had promised his heart to her? That night, when Obinna came to her room, Nkechi confronted him about what she had overheard. "It's just for show, my love," Obinna assured her, pulling her close. "You know my mother been pressuring me. I have to make it look like I am considering marriage, but you are the only one I want." Nkechi wanted desperately to believe him, but doubt had taken root in her heart. As the weeks passed, Obinna's behavior began to change. He was often distracted, cancelling their secret meetings with vague excuses. Catch glimpses of him laughing with Rolanda Eze in the garden or driving off to attend fancy events with her. Still, Nkechi clung to hope. Obinna still came to her bed some nights, whispering words of love and making promises for their future. She told herself that once his mother's pressure eased, they could be together openly. Then came the morning that changed everything. Nkechi had been feeling unwell for days, and a suspicion had been growing in her mind. With trembling hands, she took a pregnancy test. As she stared at the positive results, a mix of emotions washed over her. Joy at the life growing inside her, fear of what this would mean for her future, and hope that this would finally push Obinna to acknowledge their relationship publicly. That evening, with her heart pounding, Nkechi went to Obinna's study to share the news. She found him poring over some document looking stressed. "Obinna," she said softly, "I need to talk to you about something important." He barely looked up. "Can it wait, Nkechi? I am very busy." "No, it can't," she insisted, gathering her courage. "I am pregnant." The words hung in the air between them. Obinna's face went pale, then flushed with anger. "Are you sure?" he demanded, his voice harsh. Nkechi nodded, tears forming in her eyes. This wasn't the reaction she had hoped for. Obinna began to pace the room, running his hands through his hair. "This is a disaster," he muttered. "Do you have any idea what this could do to me? To my reputation? My business?" But I thought you loved me," Nkechi whispered, her words crumbling around her. Obinna's laugh was cold and cruel. "Love you, Nkechi? You are just a maid, a distraction. Did you really think we had a future together?" Each word was a dagger in Nkechi's heart. She struggled to breathe as Obinna continued. "Listen to me carefully," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "No one can know about this. You will get rid of it. I'll pay for everything. But if you breathe a word of this to anyone, I'll make sure you never walk in this city again. Do you understand?" Nkechi could only nod, too shocked and heartbroken to speak. "Now get out," Obinna snapped, "and don't come back until you have taken care of it." How could she have been so foolish? The signs had been there all along, but she had been too blinded by love to see them. Never truly loved her. She had been nothing more than a convenient plaything, easily discarded. For days, Nkechi went through the emotions of her work, avoiding Obinna and trying to come to terms with her new reality. She overheard whispers among the staff about Obinna's upcoming engagement to Olana Eze. Each piece of gossip was another twist of the knife in her heart. One afternoon, as Nkechi was changing the sheets in one of the guest rooms, Adaku, Obinna's mother, entered. "Don't look well. Is everything alright?" Something in the older woman's tone, a hint of genuine concern, broke through Nkechi's defenses. Before she could stop herself, the whole story came pouring out. Her relationship with Obinna, the pregnancy, his cruel dismissal of her. To Nkechi's surprise, instead of anger, Adaku's face showed a mix of sadness and resignation. "Oh, my dear child," Adaku sighed, taking Nkechi's hands in her own. "I am so sorry. I had hoped my son was a better man than this." Nkechi listened in shock, as Adaku revealed that Obinna had done this before. There had been other maids, other girls from poor families, all discarded when they became inconvenient. But this ends now, Adaku said firmly. She called a family meeting, forcing Obinna to face the consequences of his actions. The confrontation was ugly. Obinna raged and threatened, but Adaku stood firm. In the end, faced with the possibility of losing his inheritance and his mother's support, Obinna grudgingly agreed to Adaku's term. Nkechi would receive a generous settlement, enough to support herself and her child comfortably. She would also be given the opportunity to complete her education with all expenses paid. It is not justice, Adaku told Nkechi privately, but it is the best I can do to make amends for my son's behavior. As for Obinna, his engagement to Olana Eze was called off, his reputation in tatters, once the truth came to light. Adaku made it clear that he would have to earn back her trust and respect, a process that would take years. Nkechi left the Woso mansion with mixed emotions. The pain of Obinna's betrayal still cut deep, but she also felt a glimmer of hope for her future, a future that was now hers to shape.